Following the release of Spider-Man Lotus, the $100,000 fan film, there was another, not nearly as talked about fan project, with less than 1/100th of the budget. Enter Marcos Lee's Spider-Man Dissension.
How's the whole Spider-Man thing going?
It's going.
You may not think that this looks amazing. No special effects, and not the greatest lighting, and not the most outstanding audio mixing, but this film does have quite a few things that make it unique. Hopefully, by the end of this video, we will be able to convince you to check it out for yourself. But first, he's Mio.
And he's Keto.
And in the beginning, we see Spider-Man battered and bloodied on the ground, with a whole lot of blood. But this is actually a prologue.
The meat of the story takes place days prior to this. Eddie Brock meets up with Harry Osborn. These two characters are actually played by the director's close friends. Nikolai Vidala plays Harry Osborn and is played by one of the director's closest friends. They've been friends since they were kids, and impressively, nearly all his lines in this movie were improvised.
Eddie Brock was played by Caldwell. And he's not that bad of an actor, actually. I don't know if he does this professionally, but overall I think he was pretty good. Peter Parker is taken to the streets as Spider-Man, and he's trying to shake some criminals down, trying to figure out some info on Wilson Fisk, who is rumored to be creating a superhuman exosuit. Still, he has a life outside of teaming up with Daredevil, played by Tommy Nuera, who is a school friend and also a fan of Marcos Lee's previous films.
Anyways, Peter has dinner with Harry and Eddie. But before he gets there, Harry informs Eddie of the bad things that happened while he was gone, including Punisher killing Aunt May.
This is one of the things I find interesting about the movie. It doesn't seem to follow any previously existing storyline at all. The reason Marcos Lee did this is because a lot of fan films tend to base their films on comic books, like Lotus, for example, basing it off of Spider-Man Blue and the Kid Who Collects Spider-Man.
What I like about the idea of original stories is that you don't know what's going to happen next, and it allows you to make some truly interesting stories. No hate to those people, of course, who make projects based on comic books.
One benefit to basing your film on comic books is that it's easier to find funding since the donors will know what to expect, more or less. There actually is a short prelude film to this one, showing the direct aftermath of the Frank Castle incident, and it's pretty interesting. I might even recommend watching it.
Just to note, it is shot in black and white, it's in square format, and there is some language. In short, Zack Snyder would be proud.
Overall, the acting in this particular short film is pretty good. If you do watch Dissension and like Harry Osborn, you'll like him even more in the prelude.
There's some dramatic moments and scenes that remind me of Spider-Man Lotus, but they are shorter than Spider-Man Lotus.
So, depending on what you think of Spider-Man Lotus, they could be better. In this movie, Marcos Lee, the actor for Spider-Man again, is clean-shaven and he looks disturbingly like a deepfake of Tobey Maguire. And I don't mean that like as an insult or anything, it's just really weird. He even sounds like him sometimes.
There is some action in this prelude short as well, but it's rather hard to see. The cameraman may have been drunk or on caffeine at the time, because there's only one angle, and it's all over the place. It gives me very Bourne Identity vibes. Also, some of the fights happen in complete darkness.
So you can't see what the fiddlesticks is going on.
Did you just use the F word?
By the end of the movie, I was slightly confused, but I was satisfied and had fun while watching. The cameraman, while possibly a little bit inebriated, still did a pretty decent job, and I think actually the camera work might be a smidge better than it is in Dissension.
It also covers some rather dark subjects, such as Peter Parker wanting to kill himself in Minecraft.
All of this is in Minecraft.
Very cool, very advertiser friendly.
So if you want, check it out. But back to Dissension.
Even though Aunt May is dead, adding a darker feel to the movie, I actually like the tone of the film because it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Good night, man.
And the tip?
Good night, man.
All right.
There are some moments of levity, and there are some fun little references to be found.
Oh, pizza time.
Pizza time.
I understood that reference.
You generally feel like this was made by a fan of Spider-Man. The director grew up watching the Tobey Maguire movies, and you can certainly tell on certain scenes.
In this universe, Harry and Eddie both know that Peter is Spider-Man, which makes for some interesting character dynamics, especially later. Right now, they just enjoy dinner as friends.
Later, Spider-Man goes crime fighting the next day, and we get a good look at the suit.
The suit actually looks okay.
It looks fine. I'd say it's definitely suitable.
Although there's some weird contour lines.
I don't quite understand it, but I definitely know what they're going for. Overall, it's fine. Only complaint mainly is that the neck occasionally rides up. and you can tell. Anyway, Spider-Man encounters this goon and tries to get some information out of him, but it's a little hard to understand what he's saying.
From Wilson Fisk and give information I need about him, and I'm not leaving without it.
I admire the commitment to the bit of talking through your mask, but I think recording the audio separately would have been optimal.
Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is going around the town shaking down criminals, but sometimes crap happens and the criminals end up shaking Spider-Man down. Because you see, Spider-Man may have super strength, but he may not have super durability.
Also, this scene is both tragic and hilarious.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
Spider-Man is left there for dead by the goon, and he's taken to the hospital eventually by someone.
Unforced trauma to the head.
Is there any way we can go even check on him?
I kind of like the idea of Harry and Eddie being at Peter's side, because it offers him some companionship, which he almost never gets to have. Unless you count, like, the No Way Home, where he has MJ and Ned, but he very rarely has just two people helping him out.
Although I don't encourage a bunch of people helping this trend, otherwise it kind of takes away the idea from Peter's struggle with complications of his secret identity. But the main reason it works in this film is because it builds a connection between the three main characters, which arguably are the only characters really present in this movie. And it makes sense for Peter to have some type of support group, since he's basically all alone in the world otherwise.
Did we mention that Mary Jane is also dead?
Pretty dang dark. Still, I wish this movie specified how exactly Harry and Eddie learned Peter's secret identity.
And in another scene here, we notice an element that is consistent in almost all iterations of Spider-Man. Harry is, per usual, on the pills.
Pills.
And because of the pills, maybe they're hallucinogenics or something, or because he's completely lost his mind, Harry starts having the old Osborn hallucinations.
Norman is played by a random customer of Marcus's restaurant, and he's extremely abrasive towards Harry.
Even though you had this lab until after you died, I stumbled upon this
It was
lab.
all part of the plan, Harry. Go into that briefcase.
He directs Harry to a suitcase that Harry had never seen before, and in that suitcase is like some stuff and some green serum, which, as we all know, tends to mess up one's psyche.
Needless to say, this is some bad juju.
Make our name shine again as it did ages ago. Do it for me, son. Avenge me.
One day later.
Spider-Man is back on his feet again, and once again, he is back on the streets.
You have 2 seconds to tell me your boss's name.
Julius.
This man folded faster than origami paper.
Hey Pete, what's going on?
Eddie, I need you to write a name for me.
What's the name?
His name is Julius.
A few moments later.
James, I got the bomb.
Now, I actually have no idea who James is, but he's not important to the plot. Main thing is, Spider-Man finds a bomb, and it is rigged to explode, as most bombs are, so he plans on getting out of the building and disposing of it, somehow.
But, inconveniently, the person he's been searching for shows up.
Distraction now.
Enter Julius! And he's in this biker-looking getup, which I guess is the exosuit. If any of the people who made the film are watching this review, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that is the exosuit.
We think. Now, the fight choreography is rather slow and a bit choppy, but really, in concept, it's not that bad.
Meanwhile, with Harry, he continues to lose his mind, and Eddie uncovers that Harry may be the one who arranged the fight between Spider-Man and Julius and planted the bomb that will kill them both.
So take a call. It's quiet. It's really bothering me. You know what I'm saying?
Spider-Man continues to fight Julius, but can't get past him before the bomb goes off. And we see a building collapse, and what we hope is stock footage, because if it's not, there are some major concerns to be had.
Will Spider-Man survive the explosion?
Will Eddie avoid getting murdered by Harry?
And will Harry turn to the dark side because he's now talking to a mask? Interesting note about the mask.
It cost about $500, which is very expensive, but the person who made it was also involved in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But anyway, find out what happens at the end of this movie by watching Spider-Man Dissension yourself. Link down below.
But let's go into a quick review of the film.
Firstly, this film is pretty roughly produced, which is to be expected. As with almost all fan films, including Lotus, I praise the simple fact that this project was completed, and it was 50 minutes, which is quite a feat.
And with a budget of $800, it makes it even more impressive. And once you look past the low budget, there's really a lot to enjoy about this movie.
The original storyline is intriguing, as well as being new and fresh.
And I appreciate the creativity as well as the passion and investment in the character of Spider-Man. Exudes and oozes genuine love for Spider-Man, not a fake love.
Truly a film by fans for fans. And with a larger budget and more time to flesh out the story, and getting more experience in filmmaking and film production, it'll be very interesting to see what CrossFire Productions can do next.
Now here's some bonus details that the director of the film, Marcus Lee, once again, kindly provided us with.
There they are. The deets.
They began writing and shooting the movie in the summer of 2018, and they originally released it in a 4-episode miniseries that premiered on Christmas 2018 and wrapped up in April 2019. Marcos didn't really like the original release because he thought it could have been edited a lot better. Thus, he released the director's cut of Dissension this year in August 2023. He still has all 4 original episodes on a flash drive, and there are some areas that were cut, such as a Mysterio storyline and Eddie Brock with his own side story revolving around his father's work. We plan on reaching out and asking for those episodes because I do want to see that.
Marcos, even if you don't want to post them yourself, we can post them for you. One of the biggest challenges for him and his crewmates was finding scheduling days for filming because everyone was an adult and they all had their own jobs and lives, so they all had to go work on their days off. This is actually something that we do have experience in.
Even with this channel, it's difficult to balance editing a video and everything else in life. Now we asked Marco what CrossFire's production's future plans were.
It seems that in 4 months he's going to be a father to his first child.
He really wants his child to grow up seeing his father as Spider-Man, which truly makes this a wholesome gamer moment.
But besides being a father, in 2024, he's going to make his last Spider-Man film. Not connected to any other Spider-Man films, but something that is inspired by Alex Ross's artwork.
This film will be called Spider-Man: The Amazing Fantasy. This project will be for all Spider-Man fans, especially for those who grew up in the fan film community.
But most especially, it will be dedicated to his son. And we would like to take a moment to say congratulations, and we hope that you have a wonderful experience in fatherhood.
Amen. This sadly will be the last Marcos Lee Spider-Man film, before he continues his career in combat sports. I think he's doing MMA or something.
Yeah, good luck with that, by the way.
Don't get your face beat in and don't beat anybody else's face too much.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a sport, so do what you need to do. And if you want to go follow Marcus Lee and his various adventures, you can go find him on Instagram
at both Alexander Lee and Crossfire Pictures.
They also have the YouTube channel, which we'll also put the link in the description, Crossfire Pictures. And if you want to go follow his MMA adventure, you can go see him on Street Beefs in April next year.
But the most wholesome detail is that Marcos Lee used to dress up and go to conventions and see children in children's hospitals and attend birthday parties dressed as Spider-Man.
He said the smiles he used to bring on people's faces made every moment of it worth it. And a round of applause for our boy Marcos. If you have any doubts about seeing this movie, please at least see it for that reason, because that's pretty dang wholesome. And that's the end of this video.
So if you like this review, go ahead and hit like, and don't forget to check out Crossfire Pictures.
And even if you don't want to subscribe to our channel, which you should definitely subscribe to Crossfire Pictures.
Thank you for watching, and feel free to watch this video over here. And until then, he's Keto.
And he's Mia.
And we hope you have a blessed day. Bye!
Come on, Peter, pick up the phone!